Joan Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died. When
was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's the man. Like, remember that?
Yeah, like, would Big Mike kill you for that?
Well, I think she died because she had 1,000 plastic surgeries. But
yeah, she was going under.
Yeah.
She just sees these big black arms coming over her face from Big Mike.
Bro.
They blame gender for her surrender. This week, Michelle Obama scolded female Trump supporters in front of an audience at a business conference in Boston, a city in Massachusetts. She said the former First Lady, quote, "Any woman who voted against Hillary Clinton voted..."
Forget the sugar-coated speeches and photo-ready smiles. Michelle Obama just got steamrolled by the unfiltered tag team of Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld. This wasn't just a roast, it was a full-on comedic ambush. With razor-sharp wit and zero tolerance for political theatrics, they tore through the glossy image, the staged snapshots, and those never-ending healthy eating lectures. No polish, no politeness. Just a brutal dose of reality that shook her carefully crafted persona like a storm hitting the White House garden.
Obama did it, where he repeated that lie about Donald Trump talking about white supremacists, saying they're very fine people on both sides. Let's play it.
Said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
That's crazy. I have never seen that last part.
Will the Dems ever win again, as long as they keep hating men? Our video of the day is a 2-for-1 man-haters special. First up, Michelle trashes dudes while urging women to act more like them.
We're always hedging, you know, because in the back of our minds, we weren't raised with the certainty of maleness that, you know, kind of the confidence that young men in their 30s.
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, let's talk about Michelle Obama, because for the past decade, she's been surfing a wave of fame that's got more style than substance. From turning kale into a political symbol to spinning dance routines into strategy, she's mastered the art of wrapping polished PR in a cloak of purpose. These days, it feels like she's just one hashtag away from launching a line of hope branded bottled air.
Michelle thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage. To the women listening, we have every right to demand that the men in our lives do better by us.
What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump.
Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld didn't just roast Michelle Obama. They shattered the polished image and asked the one question no one dares to: what has she actually done lately? Beyond the glamorous interviews and bestseller tours, they highlighted the irony of someone reflecting on the struggles of fame while enjoying life in a taxpayer-funded mansion, adored by the media every step of the way.
Had her kids, were they private or public? Like, when was that, when he was a senator?
I don't know. I just know that...
Like, he was a senator, right?
Yes.
Before he became president.
For sure.
So what, law school, Senate?
I have no issue because I want to live. I have no issue with Big Mike. I don't care that they killed that sex slave in Martha's Vineyard. That's what happens to sex slaves. They drown in ponds. That's what happens. You fuck the ruling class, you drown a pond. That's what happens. If you get your little mouthy, you go into the pond. I don't have a problem with it. I have no I think it's good. I actually think it's good. I think it makes our country fun. I think it makes us unique. I think Putin and them are scared of that shit.
They do it all the time.
I think Putin and the Chinese are like, you know, you don't know what's going on there. Because they got people that maybe they're men, maybe they're women, we don't know.
Let's be real. Since leaving the White House, Michelle Obama's biggest headline move has been reminding everyone that vegetables exist. She went all in on a crusade against school lunches, treating cafeteria pizza like it was a national security threat. Meanwhile, kids across the country were mourning their lost chicken nuggets, choking down quinoa, and dreaming of the salty goodness that once was. As world leaders tackled global chaos, Michelle was busy turning lunch trays into battlegrounds, where sweet potatoes and carrot sticks reigned supreme.
Obama surprised fans on our new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up. When she cleans it. When she cleans it.
Rogan, with his signature sarcasm, zeroed in on Michelle Obama's so-called legacy like a sniper. To him, she's not a political force. She's basically a walking TED Talk. She glides through the cultural spotlight, dropping feel-good one-liners while dodging anything that demands real grit. It's all branding, no backbone. And the second anyone dares to question the narrative, her fanbase rushes in like she just cured cancer with kale and a jump rope.
Had a good time. The country's almost back to normal before World War III. COVID was just so strange. We lost a lot of people during COVID, and most of them are still alive. Yeah. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons in it.
Greg Gutfeld, never one to dance around the truth, cut straight through the fluff. He called out the irony of Michelle Obama painting herself as a reluctant public figure, because nothing screams normal life like multi-million-dollar Netflix deals, sold-out stadium tours, and a memoir rollout that rivals a Marvel movie premiere. She claims to hate politics, yet drops presidential hints between podcast episodes. Michelle wants it both ways, above the political mess, yet constantly in the spotlight, a private citizen, yet flanked by a security detail and a media team that could rival the Pentagon. She's mastered the art of playing neutral while quietly campaigning. And as she lectures America on inequality, she does it from a throne built on streaming royalties, best-selling books, and speeches that cost more than many Americans earn in a year. Her version of struggle rings about as true as a Whole Foods commercial. After all, Michelle's idea of hardship might just be finding slightly wilted arugula on her private jet.
What does it mean for us as women that we look at those two candidates and many of us said, that guy, he's better for me. His voice is more true to me. Well, to me, that just says you don't like your voice. You like the thing you're told to like. I don't get this. No one likes their own voice. Have you ever listened to your own voicemail? It is horrifying.
Greg Gutfeld wasn't buying Michelle Obama's polished victim narrative either. While she constantly laments how hard it was to be First Lady, millions of Americans are out here juggling 3 jobs just to survive. And let's not forget, Michelle wasn't shunned, she was celebrated. The media adored her, late-night hosts practically bowed at her feet, and public opinion was sky-high. She could have tripped on stage, and Vogue would have called it a bold statement on balance and elegance. Yet somehow, she still plays the role of the exiled underdog, as if she was banished to political Siberia with nothing but a salad spinner and a dream. It's not just tone-deaf, it's downright offensive. There are unknown writers in basement apartments pouring their trauma into entire book trilogies that don't even get a book club mention. Meanwhile, Michelle's out here publishing her feelings like they're top-secret documents from a battlefield.
A gay needing attention over an old letter. What? I should read that again. Anyway, no, we'll just keep going. The New York Post obtained a redacted portion of a handwritten letter the former president sent to his then-college girlfriend, Alex McNear. Alex, eh? Back in 1982. He talked about his, quote, androgynous mind and wrote, and I'm quoting Obama here, I make love to men daily, but in the imagination.
Rogan couldn't help but laugh at the irony. Here's a woman who spent years in the spotlight, constantly preaching about her need for privacy, only to turn around and cash in with another multi-million-dollar media deal. Her so-called privacy has become a brand in itself. She's monetized mystery to the point where she could slap My Private Truths on a blank notebook, and it'd hit the bestseller list before noon. Greg Gutfeld didn't miss a beat either. He called out the double standard loud and clear. Michelle can recycle the blandest lines about unity and hope, and people react like she just brokered world peace with a yoga mat and some lavender oil. But the moment anyone right of center so much as breathes wrong, they're instantly labeled fascist and sent straight to the Twitter firing squad. Everything about her public persona is carefully staged and packaged so smoothly, you almost forget how little substance is underneath. Michelle's version of courage? Liking a mildly political tweet or vaguely hinting at complexity on a podcast. No policies, no solutions, just feelings, neatly market-tested and studio-approved. She's the human equivalent of a political horoscope. Soft, safe, and designed to flatter half the room while gently boring the rest to sleep.
Saying that Michelle Obama should run for president. If she won, she could pull her cock out and China would just give up. I was fucking wheezing. I couldn't breathe. Big Mike.
Big Mike. Big Mike.
It's like crazy. Come on, tell me it isn't one of the fun things about the internet.
Of course.
These crazy
it's so fun. It's
conspiracies are fun.
We had a cab driver on the way back from like Dixie Chicks or something, and he goes halfway back. He goes,
Dixie Chicks?
Yeah. He goes, where do you guys get?
You know, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, you know, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man, you know.
When it comes to politics, Michelle Obama is always dancing on the edge. Never fully in, but never truly out. She says just enough to grab headlines, but never enough to risk real consequences. She wants the spotlight without the stakes, the cheers without the challenges. It's political cosplay, where the costume changes with every high-paying speaking gig. Greg Gutfeld laid it out perfectly. The media treats Michelle's every word like sacred scripture. She could tweet, "Stay hydrated," and CNN would slap a breaking news banner on it. Somehow, she's turned basic life advice into a multi-million-dollar branding empire, and the most astonishing part is how people lap it up like she's reshaping the world. But when you strip away the polished Netflix documentaries and blockbuster book tours, her actual political legacy, it's cafeteria reform. Less ketchup, more celery sticks. That's the extent of it. No bold legislation. No sweeping reforms. Just a nation of kids staring at their quinoa and wondering what they did wrong. And yet, Michelle walked out of the White House with more influence than lawmakers who've actually changed lives. She's the only First Lady who gained more political power by doing less, but doing it with better lighting, better styling, and just the right amount of calculated vagueness. If that's the new gold standard for leadership, then the bar isn't low. It's buried 6 feet under, right next to the last forgotten copies of her husband's stimulus plan.
Of course, rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men. Terrible that you would applaud that.
Rogan called it exactly what it is: political performance art. Michelle Obama isn't leading a movement. She's headlining the world's longest TED Talk. And America, just sitting there, politely clapping, wondering if anything meaningful was actually said. She's mastered the art of resonating without revealing. Her words sound powerful, but when you try to pin down the substance, there's nothing there. You feel inspired, but you don't know why. Gutfeld didn't hold back either. He slammed the media for turning every one of her Instagram posts into a shrine. She could upload a blurry pic of her dog, and pundits would dissect it like it holds the key to foreign policy. Meanwhile, anyone else trying to be genuine is labeled unpolished or unfit. The double standard isn't just laughable, it's dangerous. At this point, Michelle has become more brand than person. Every moment is curated, polished, and scrubbed clean of controversy. No bold positions, no hard truths, just soft-spoken sympathy and on-trend concern. And yet, we're expected to applaud this as leadership. But it's not leadership, it's theater. Carefully staged, impressively packaged, and utterly hollow.
Rogan is calling out Oprah and Michelle Obama for hypocritical speeches at the DNC. Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as Like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, you know, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like, you are worth so much money.
Take more than they need. The Obamas have 4 mansions.
I mean, it's a bunch of rich people talking about rich people.
Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld didn't just challenge the Michelle Obama myth, they dismantled it, piece by piece. They exposed the contradictions, mocked the manufactured image, and called out the blind devotion to someone who hasn't taken a real political risk in over a decade. And no, it wasn't cruel. It was overdue. Someone had to cut through the fog. Because behind the flawless branding and nostalgia-fueled glow, Michelle Obama is just another elite figure coasting on carefully packaged memories and soft-focused documentaries. Yet the performance rolls on. The lighting stays warm, the soundbites stay safe, and the applause never stops. But now, the cracks are showing. Once the glamour fades, all that's left is the track record, and it's about as thin as a school cafeteria kale chip. And just when you think Michelle can't elevate her own pedestal any higher, bam, she does. At this point, it's political performance art. She's the only person who can rock a luxury pantsuit, board a private jet, and still claim to be the voice of the oppressed, all without blinking.
Even if they run Michelle. According to a new poll, Michelle Obama isn't as strong a Democratic candidate against former President Donald Trump as many Dems would have you believe. In a hypothetical matchup, my favorite kind, Trump wins with 47% of the vote compared to Michelle Obama's 44%. I guess some of the kids whose school lunches she ruined are finally old enough to vote.
Meanwhile, Joe Rogan can't stop laughing. He's seen wild elk more grounded than Michelle Obama's post-White House evolution. And Greg Gutfeld? Still wiping away tears, not from emotion, but from laughing at the absurdity of Michelle complaining about the burden of fame, while basking under studio lights and raking in millions for doing it. She's perfected the craft of being iconic simply for existing. These days, she doesn't even have to speak. A raised eyebrow in a well-lit room is enough to spark a headline worthy of a TED Talk. The media reacts like she's reinvented the wheel, while behind the scenes, she's snapping pics with a $2,000 Wagyu burger and truffle fries, right before telling Americans to eat more vegetables. The gap between what she says and how she lives isn't just ironic, it's a masterclass in Olympic-level hypocrisy. Somewhere out there, Michelle's probably planning a humility-themed lecture tour with front-row seats starting at $1,200. And don't worry, it comes with a complimentary bookmark and a guilt trip about your grocery list. And that's where this chapter ends, for now. Thanks to Joe and Greg tearing the glossy wrapping off this carefully curated fairy tale, the world is finally starting to read the fine print. Stay tuned, because this train wreck of polished perfection isn't stopping. It's just switching outfits.